Sai.
We back. All the
Came
fellas saying.
the books.
Wrong.
Well, we did
You're wrong. That didn't sound too enthusiastic, now, pal.
Yeah.
You had a big game against Liverpool there.
the man making all the signings at our expenses, so they're supposed to feel good.
At all your expense. All you inflict the market, my brother. All you have that all you make Brighton holders for ransom. I expected better from Liverpool.
Liverpool, boy. So anyway, people, we are wrong. We had to discuss the last weekend of fixtures and talk a little bit about what the recent news in football. The transfer market still open, so we have some things that we could talk about. So let's just go through the fixtures. We'll just run through them, and then we could talk about maybe the games that stood out and what we saw. By the way, I'm gonna post a link in the chat for anybody who want to join us. So let me just do that right now before
Come
I
on,
begin.
caller. Come on. Or did I say a lot in the chat? I don't know some about the Fred camera. We want to hear all you.
We have some Chelsea fans is after the fact they just want to come and talk.
Yeah, come and join us, man. Geraldo, what you saying, bro? Everything nice. Call up the show, man. Join us and give us your opinion. Give us your opinion. I want to talk a little bit about West Indies cricket too. I was in Florida for the T20 games, and I got to see West Indies win that series against India. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So let's just get through it. So the fixtures as we had last week.
Start of the season with the champions.
Yes. First game was City against Burnley.
Yeah, that was what you call a walk in the park.
A walk in the park. 3-0. 2 goals from Haaland.
4 minutes on the clock, first goal.
Yeah, that was a walk in the park.
Haaland had 2 goals in that game. The second goal was particularly impressive to me. I thought the chance had gone, when he scored a second goal, but shout out to Haaland.
He actually collect one of those senseless records. The first player in a while to score the first and second Premier League goals of the season.
Oh,
Yeah.
Haaland, okay.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Burnley was the home team there. What City had all the ball, all the chances. It was a simulation exercise.
But it wasn't all good news for them.
Yeah, they have a big injury there with Kevin De Bruyne. They say he's gonna be out for about 3 to 4 months. That's huge. That's huge.
Major.
That's huge. I mean, what do you guys think? I think personally you're gonna start seeing some more of these type of injuries, because these guys are playing a lot of games, especially the guys that are essential to their teams like Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes. Them guys playing every weekend. So
I was looking at another program today, and a former player was saying with this type of injuries, you get a small tear in the hamstring, you come back quickly because you don't feel too bad, and then another little tear, and then you go down for if you don't give it the right time to heal and repair, and you see you get a big tear, and that is where you have to do like surgery to reattach. What he may be experiencing now, so you're gonna be out for a while.
So all you think they're gonna affect City now in terms of?
I
think
logically there'll always be that factor, and also you have the other teams might feel okay, De Bruyne might feel a little more pep in their step, play for a little bit more confident, something, try. I don't think so.
Yeah. Or the other teams, from what I see so far, there's work to be done. I think with De Bruyne going down and importantly, Gundogan not being there, I think City might, it might slow them down a bit, but at the same time, City slow down a bit. They're still comfortably better than the rest. So they have what's his name? They bought from Chelsea,
Kovacic
there, so maybe he can pick up the slack, not from the goal and assist perspective, but he can keep things ticking in the middle. Haaland and the other four will do the rest. I don't think we'll see too much of a drop off from City.
Yeah, but I think Kevin De Bruyne is a man that is, really essential to what they do. Again, the way Pep coaches and the players he have at his disposal, you expect them to kick on still, but that man's still gonna be a huge miss for them. Right now, Haaland last year it took Haaland a little while to get used to how they were playing, and he and Kevin De Bruyne had this crazy, relationship on the pitch. So now they have to kind of revamp themselves again and see who's gonna fit in there. Maybe someone like Foden, or maybe they'll move Bernardo Silva into the middle a little bit more. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So that was the first game on Friday. Then we got into Arsenal start for the season. Arsenal, the game, they were leading 2-0 for a while, right? And then Forest scored to bring it back to 1. But they saw it off. What do you guys think about the goalkeeper situation for Arsenal? How was he looking? I didn't really watch that game.
I mean, it was a comfortable game for Arsenal for the most part. We dominate the ball mostly, all the chances. It's just, with football sometimes, the way the game goes, if you're not on it 100%, you lapse in concentration, the other team will score. And it was a good goal from Forest, a former United player, burst down the wing, but Arsenal was always in control.
That was Elanga you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This type of games, is, I guess in the past is the type of games Arsenal would. Well, this one Arsenal was home, so maybe it's the away games they tend to drop off a bit, but like the kind of game you expect them to win, and they were comfortable.
So the next game we had on the docket there was what? Bournemouth, West Ham. A goal for Solanke. That man start for me in my fantasy, so I was very happy about that.
It's a former Liverpool man, good striker. I thought that game would be a draw or a narrow Bournemouth win. I feel West Ham are beaten out of sorts, but I guess they find a way.
So, Rajiv, which one of them games you watched there? You watched the Brighton game?
I watched.
We have Brighton, Luton. Brighton won that game comfortably.
I watched the Newcastle game.
Oh, Newcastle, okay.
That's the game I look at, and it had not to like Newcastle at this point. I had Isak in my team, so I was looking particularly at him, and I don't know, Newcastle look like they will be. I don't know how many of us had them in our surprise, but well, we consider them a surprise last year, but I think this year it could be an improvement from what they did last year, and we could see them maybe move up a little higher on the table, because I feel like as though they know what they're about. They kind of like they're not really influenced by too much going on outside of them. Like they focus on their particular signings, and it seems to be translating well on the pitch. So.
But the thing is now, Rajiv, is that teams like Newcastle and Villa and them teams there, I feel like right now, before the European season kicks off, they have to try to maximize their points, because I think when they start traveling into Europe and stuff, that's when you're gonna really have to, you're gonna see what the season have for them, because like we were talking about last time, when you have to play your best players in the Champions League and you have to play them best players in the Premier League, there's only so many games the players can play. So we'll see what the strength for squad depth and all those things have to what they have to play, what are going to play up into everything,
Yeah, I think so. I think when the manager come to the point where he have to rotate and stuff, and we'll see. I don't know. I feel like game was under normally. Villa were not that bad, but Newcastle execute everything that they do with it go in their favor. But I feel like it's early days still. And I wouldn't agree with Rajiv and say it's hard to hate them. I think it's hard to like them.
But me too. It had to like them for real.
Yeah.
Hard to like them.
Why? I mean, why?
Yeah.
Well, they are rivals. They are rivals. I don't like rival teams.
I cannot be happy that a team like Newcastle now, with that kind of money they have backing them up there. Taking up a place.
All the money coming soon. The Qatari money coming soon.
Well, I don't know about that. We've been hearing about Qatari as long as we've been hearing about airport in Dominica. So I waiting for to see what going on.
By 2030, man. By 2030, the Glazers will sell up.
Yeah, I went from to see what's going on. I mean, we'll see because Newcastle ahead of schedule. Way ahead of schedule. I don't think they anticipated being in Champions League and everything there. So we have to see. You know,
Yeah.
Carol, I know you have the welcome. I know you have the predictions or our things written down. So as you're going down, you can kind of see who was mad and who was crazy. You know.
All right. Well, what's the word?
So
Apologies to my tardiness. I had a little technical issue there. So
yeah, man. So good. It's all right.
That's what happened in the beginning of the Arsenal game as well. Technical issues cause a late start.
And how did that turn out for Arsenal?
If these large clubs can have issues, then you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Who am I?
Exactly. So then the next game we're gonna go down to the Brentford and Spurs. Spurs post Hurricane, post the Hurricane era. You know, I didn't watch that game. I wasn't able to watch that game. I was too busy drinking. I was drinking rum in the stadium in Florida. You know, so
I watched that game.
But how that game go, Carol?
So Brentford is a team to watch out for. As they say, same way as they were last year, they're going to be tough to beat because they have energy all around the pitch. But Spurs actually surprised me in terms of how they play. Now I've been hearing about that coach and Ange Ball and this and this and this. He have players playing with freedom, and I feel like if Spurs start to click, they'll give the smaller teams trouble. But I still think they'll struggle against the upper echelons of the Premier League with better players individually. I think they can go toe-to-toe with like the Brentfords and probably trouble Brighton, but in terms of troubling City and Arsenal, maybe even Chelsea, because I think Chelsea midfield better than theirs, and that is their engine room. So, and if they still if they don't get two centre backs to really not two, another one, because they signed that young kid. I don't remember his name, but if they can get another centre back to partner him with similar pace because they play in a high line, I think they can probably move up the table. They'll finish top 10.
I also watched that game, and Brentford, nothing we haven't seen from Brentford before. They tend to raise their game when they play against so-called top 6 teams. And without Tony, while they didn't have that same focal point, they was very effective on the counter, sitting back and pushing the counter. Spurs, Madison is going to be very crucial for them this year because they don't really have too much creativity.
Correct.
Outside of, Kulusevski.
But even Kulusevski look off the pace.
But Kulusevski wasn't really effective in my opinion because Brentford didn't give them much room to run in behind. Kulusevski is not really a creative player in terms of his passing. It's more of his direct run and his, so Son is Son, but I feel like Madison gonna be key.
And Rico Henry did a very good job on Kulusevski too, keeping him quiet. So
yeah.
So
I don't think going to be able to
all the things post Hurricane that Spurs, they'll finish in and around mid-table somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Or maybe
they'll struggle for goals if they depend on Richarlison alone for sure.
Yeah. Next game on the docket, boy. The biggest game of the weekend. Liverpool and Chelsea. At Stamford Bridge. No, that's a big game. That big game. Them teams, they were battling on the pitch. They were battling in the transfer market. It looked like Chelsea, on paper as one in the transfer market. But we'll see. We'll see what they have to bring. We'll see.
It remains to be seen who wins the transfer.
Two big stories. What Caicedo, I agree. Well, Chelsea has paid about 115 million pounds for Caicedo.
Plus the add-ons.
And imagine, look at how strange that is, right? When were we on Friday?
Yeah.
And we say, look, Liverpool get Caicedo, Liverpool top 4. Liverpool top 4. Look at how it changed.
Yeah, boy.
Well, I'll tell you what. If Liverpool can somehow sign a quality DM between now and the end of the window, I feel we will be we will challenge at the top end of the table.
But hold on, is it this year?
already-
Is it this year that 5 teams qualify?
I think so.
5 teams can qualify,
Yeah.
but it doesn't necessarily go to England. But it's a they say currently, given the current
Coefficients and things.
coefficients
Yeah.
and all that statistics, it would have gone to England, but it can go anywhere.
Okay.
I
So
think we go to England.
I mean that's an extra incentive for a team to try and finish up there, top 5 at least and see what's going on,
I
But
think good.
yeah, but I watched bits and pieces of that game. I mean, our partner Tommy Tactics raving about Enzo and saying Enzo that Enzo bossed the game and all this. I have to rewatch it.
I was the biggest critic of Enzo. To me, I never really see,
So you see now then.
Well, he played better on the weekend. But the problem is that with him, venturing so far forward, Gallagher was playing defensive midfield, and that is one area that we were needing some reinforcements. Maybe
right now, we signed 2 players to play there.
Exactly. So maybe that might, add some durability to the team. But you see a lot of the same, parts of Chelsea last season not finishing, getting in the position, still not finishing. So I don't know. I still can have a little uneasiness when it comes to actually scoring goals.
Wait, Rajiv.
Like maybe we still don't know what we're getting yet. We hope, but we still don't know what we're getting yet.
Rajiv, some of them things you call in GT, there was tough chances,
Well, it's also a very good opposing goalkeeper.
But Kerry, the thing is, when you come in from a season where that was our problem, it's still kind of like
well, again, you have to think about the opposition you play and the chances all you create. To me, all the problem last year wasn't necessarily only putting the ball in the net. Sometimes all you just couldn't create, so only create a few.
They were throwing quite a few chances last year between Sterling and these other guys. But let me tell you something, Rajiv. A lot of Chelsea fans raving about, we dominate possession against Liverpool. Chelsea was the home team. Almost £1 billion spent in 1 year. You should be dominating possession at home, at the bridge. Liverpool should be the ones to come there and nick a victory, if anything. So to be celebrating, we control possession against Liverpool. It's come on.
Neither here nor
there. I will say, on the balance of play, Chelsea had the better of the chances. They would be more disappointed to come away with a draw. But Liverpool in the first 30 minutes, I feel like we should have been 2 or 3 up. If we could have just get the final ball right, we were playing well. But Chelsea not going to meet too many teams that giving them as much space as Liverpool give them in behind. We playing a type of high line there with no CDM. We had McAllister playing in the holding role, and I don't think that's the right spot for him. He need to be in CM with a little bit more freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So once we can get that, we'll come back to Chelsea and see what's the word. But for now, the market have to save us.
Well, right now, brother, I mean, I don't know why is all your backup plan, because all you was trying to move Lavia over a couple million.
We have DMs out there, man. They were targets we were talking about earlier in the summer that we move on from. We could always revisit Kefran Turam and all these guys. There's players there, it's just that the market is how it is now, so you have to put a little extra money outside. But we really just need somebody with legs that can track back, win the ball, give it to the other CMs, and then from there we can go. We don't need the 115 million pound players in club system. We never had that.
Yeah, well, we'll see, man. We'll see what's gonna come of the rest of the transfer market. Keep a keen eye out for that. A couple more weeks for the transfer market to go. The last game for the weekend was United against Wolves, and on Monday evening.
That's all you game. Only get referees fired.
No.
Let's start at the end. Because
the biggest talking point of the game was the lack of the penalty decision, or the penalty decision that was not granted to Wolves.
Yes, let's see that correctly. That was a Stonewall penalty, man.
Blatant miscarriage of justice.
Stonewall penalty.
I don't know if it's that bad, but I mean,
it's a Stonewall penalty, man.
It's a penalty, but
for me,
I know the referee.
If we break it down, it's a foul.
It's a foul.
And stuck in the box.
Correct. Because
By the law,
anywhere on the field that you're running out and you jump in and your eyes not on the ball, you have no sight of the ball, and you clatter into a player is a foul.
Yeah,
but at the same time, though, we have seen. I'm sure we have. I mean, that was definitely a penalty, and I'm debating that. But we have seen also many times that the referees are a little more lenient in the box when it comes to those type of collisions and those kind of things.
And my point is, if it was just the collision, it's fine because you run in, you cannot really stop in there. But he also clasp at the ball, miss it, and clamp into the player head in at the same time of the collision. I mean,
so
Brad, I genuinely thought they were gonna give it.
I can explain the flapping, because as far as he concerned, you realize he missing the ball. So he flap his arms in case the ball gets a deflection of somebody and
contact with the player. That's the thing.
You check. So I can understand what he was thinking, but still, I think it's a penalty. I think it was wrong.
Yeah, it's definitely a penalty, man. Definitely a penalty. I thought they were gonna give it. I was very surprised. I actually thought once I saw them, I think they said the VR told the referee to go look at it, and then he changed his mind or something like that.
Yeah,
I was surprised at that. But
what's worse is the manager of Wolves receive a yellow card because of his reaction, and then after the fact, now you apologizing and say it was a wrong decision.
But they don't receive any yellow card.
That was the reason.
Yeah, I don't really understand the decisions.
But the referees get a week ban or something like that.
Yeah.
For Wolves.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, I don't understand how the punishment. The punishment have nothing to do with the team who was the most aggrieved in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
We will forget that the game.
But then they won't rob by finding with that. No, they know they get it wrong, but it can't affect the outcome of the game, because in that moment you don't know what could have happened with the game.
Right.
The penalty, they could have blazed it over back one another.
Yeah. I mean, you can't give them points for that. I'm just saying.
Right, but then that is all they can really do, is what I'm trying to say.
But they still can rescind that yellow card. That if they say that they made the wrong decision, then the yellow card should be rescinded.
I can understand that. Yeah.
Because there's been times where they have gone back and reviewed red cards and stuff, and changed it to yellow cards and stuff like that. So they could do that. But down to the game itself, I mean, overall, it was an absolutely terrible game by Manchester United. It looked like our players were tired. It looked like our players were leggy. It doesn't look like they were ready for the start of the season at all. Honestly, I was very surprised because we saw them here playing in Jersey, and they look decent, and it looked like the manager had a way that he wanted to play. But I don't know. I still feel like
no, not even jet lag. I think doing the way we saw them playing in Jersey here was because they had a double pivot. Casemiro, and it was enabling us to play out at the back because it was forcing Wan-Bissaka wide and Shaw wide. And Menu,
so what I'm saying,
who?
Huh? Kobe Menu.
In every game?
Not every game. They didn't start every game together like that, but they were trying to play like that every game.
But this is what I don't understand. Honestly, as a United fan, I go on like Ten Hag been there for a year plus. He's brought in his targets. Some of them have been good, some of them not so much. I see he trying to gain control and stuff for the team, but to be honest, I mean, we get Onana and we have big guys, but we still don't have the midfield to control games. But at the very least, the guys have to be physically ready to play. Mm-hmm. And the manager has to take blame for that, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. You cannot start, it can't be the first game of the season, and guys, Casemiro looked like he played 50 games already for the season.
No, he really looked
the
off.
man looked leggy. I mean, you had that guy Cunha. Cunha was running for defense every single time he gets the ball.
Well,
I swear I never see our midfield. Well, not never. It happened. It's happened recently, but that man was literally just one shake and passed our midfield running at our defense.
The whole midfield.
Any one of them that get the ball.
Yep. Let me be the first man.
Let me not look like Polo at the base of that midfield.
But hey, at the end of the day, we got the 3 points. I'll take it. We didn't play well. I'll take the 3 points. We'll see what next week have to offer.
Ten Hag coming last summer. We say, okay, it's not quite the same yet. He bring in some players. He had a full preseason. I keep telling Man U fans, I'm not really seeing a discernible style of play from Ten Hag.
I agree. I not seen it.
At the very least, at home, you would expect Man U to dominate the ball. The possession was almost 50-50, and Wolves actually had more shots in total and more shots on target. It was a abysmal performance.
I feel like since last year we've been having games where it's like we starting the game slow. We starting the game slow, low energy, and by the time they try to, catch up and try to get into the game, the other team is now 10 15 minutes into it. They've built up confidence, so at that point it's very difficult for you to come back in the game. You know what I'm saying? You cannot start off a game, and even when we played against Liverpool and we get the 7 last year, like some of those things that happened, like it was like so passive and stuff. And before they knew it, they were down 2 and 3 and 4, and then people trying to like rush and and then they keep making mistakes. So I think Ten Hag have to take the blame for that. For that poor, because last year was the same thing. So right now we can't say it's something that we haven't seen. Last year we started the season just as bad. The only difference is this year we got away with getting 3 points. So next week we have Spurs. We have to see what we have.
But for me, just a last point on Man, you like Casemiro, as good as he is, I don't feel like he can play a sole lone CDM. He not mobile enough.
Yeah.
And trust me, I know about defensive midfielder because we don't have one in our whole squad. So like you see as Wolves midfielders, as soon as they drop their shoulder and they turn, if short up the field, them and up the field, they off to the races. 2-on-3 on 2, 2-on-1.
And two, I think when him and Ericsson were playing deep, Ericsson had a bit more discipline. Ericsson never used to really bomb forward like that. So even if Casemiro get beat, Ericsson would try and cover, at least delay to give us time. Yesterday, Casemiro, Mount, Bruno.
Yeah.
So once they get everybody running straight at him, and once they get past him, nice it.
Yep.
There was not enough discipline from our midfield, and that too, I think, is probably why he tried to bring in Amrabat or whoever.
We'll see.
Are they trying to bring in Amrabat? Because
supposedly
they were trying to sell Maguire, but we hear today that Ten Hag telling me he want him to fight for his place.
No, Ten Hag told him to fight for his place before we found out that he'll get things.
What I saw was that he was demanding a $9 million payout from the club, and the club was playing hardball.
Well.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw originally they agreed. I don't know. The reports were 7 million. They were gonna pay him off, and you wanted 9 or 10, whatever.
I'd pay him anyway, and drive him to West Ham.
No. That's okay. That's okay. We can keep him there. Let him stay on the bench. The Pui. That's okay.
Remember they did a crush
paycheck too.
They did a crush letter. They like those Man U fans for him to say, you see, if we had sold Maguire, we would have had a proper center back. Blah blah blah.
Nah, man. I think Maguire will get his chances, in certain games, but you're not going to play as much as you maybe want to before you have a European Championship next year. I think so. I thought that he would definitely want to move somewhere where he could play consistently, but we'll see. You still have some time to go in the window, so we'll see. So next week,
I feel we have one more big signing.
I don't know about big now. We may have one more signing. I don't know if you're
big. I feel like,
when you say big, we're talking what kind of?
We're not talking 115 million big. We're not talking that big. But I feel like there's something in the work somewhere. Like the game yesterday exposed a lot of our deficiencies.
Yeah, but I don't think the game yesterday. I feel like at home, forget about signing or tactics is where I feel.
Yes.
I always say before, I tell fans, like when United fans would complain about the midfielder, they're right. I say even the squad they have there, at least a better showing should have been had. I mean, like signings is one thing. Like Liverpool could have played better at Chelsea, regardless of whether we have a DM or not. But over the course of the season, definitely the squad have holes that need to be plugged.
For sure. So before we go off to a little bit to cricket, we can talk a little bit about cricket and stuff. I wanted to go through the fixtures coming up for next week.
Some big games there, boy.
Next week. So we have starting off on Friday. We have Nottingham Forest and Sheffield United. That's going to be a big game for those two teams. That 6-pointer. See who could win that game.
Forest won their game, right?
Forest, did they win?
Forest lost.
They lost.
Forest lost.
No, they
Forest
lost to
lost.
Arsenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Then you have
Sheffield
Fulham,
lost as well, right?
Fulham, Brentford, Liverpool, Bournemouth. Wolves playing Brighton. We are away to Spurs. City, Newcastle are gonna be a big game.
Big game.
Especially without Kevin De Bruyne, they're gonna be a big game.
Yeah.
Sunday going into Aston Villa, Everton. I mean Villa. I watched bits and pieces of that game. They lost 5-1, but they had some good chances in that game, man. I think
The scoreline didn't do justice to the game.
Everton cheated. They already start off on their own foot.
Then Chelsea going to West Ham, boy. Big game, boy. London Derby.
Yeah.
Arsenal going to take their first loss of the season at Crystal Palace. And that going round of the weekend.
A banana skin the following week. Yeah.
Robin?
The following week, Portugal going to slide on a banana peel.
The following week, who they play next? The following week?
Luton.
Chelsea, yeah.
Chelsea.
Chelsea playing Luton the following week?
Yeah.
So,
but no, I'll tell you this. I watch the Luton game. Them man crossing that ball at every opportunity. If you see your defenders not on it, they might take you, and them boys breaking quick. I was actually very impressed for their showing. So I think make sure you tell you this.
Well, Rajiv may be alright, man. The back five, everything.
We have players upon players.
$300 million midfield. We come on.
Come on.
Question. All you think Shane, come on now. You think Port will stick to that back five, or you'll go into a back four?
Nah, they won't stick to that back five.
Okay. Can you just play it to the opposition?
Yeah.
All right.
Partly
who knows? Maybe we've seen a more dynamic Poch this season. I mean, we have some of the defenders there, so we might have to rotate things for games and also keep players happy.
So Rajiv, out of the three that start there now, who you think going to play?
I mean, Silva is the sure, always sure, and then I don't think he pay all that money to keep Colwell for him to be on the bench, so it might that might be the two.
Okay.
Levi Colwell, boy. Hey, if you guys have your opinions, I want you guys' opinions. Call up, join us, man. Join us. All the first in the chat.
At some point,
there will be a link there. Click on that link. Join us and give your opinion.
Bad news to Korea. Chilwell. I think Chilwell.
Korea is only backup. You don't have bad news for him.
When I say bad news, I mean nobody happy to sit on the bench and wait for play back up.
He will collect his big paycheck from the bench though.
Nobody happy.
Well,
bad news for Javier, Baba.
I think we already fitted all the midfielders. So Radim, who is on the creative force now? Enzo.
Yeah, Ferrari.
Okay, all right. Cool. So Enzo, Caicedo, and Lavia.
And Kunku.
Is who that there now that might suck. So that's the thing.
Gallagher.
Make him facilitate a move if they want to. If them fellas say they want to leave, they should at least facilitate that. Because I don't think we're not just stacking. We playing one competition. Like where are we going? We playing one competition. Why are we for them fellas there?
Amen.
Yeah. So let's go a little bit into the cricket. So I was in Florida for the 2020 game there, West Indies against India, and West Indies had won the first two games in the 5-game series. And India came back and tied the series, and the last game on Sunday, West Indies won quite convincingly by 8 wickets, with 2 overs to spare, chasing down I think 165. Hey. So watching that game, man, I think it was. Oh, we have somebody that joined us there, fellas. Hold on, before I go into that there, let me see who that is.
Check them out in the side room first.
Enzo Caicedo.
Enzo, boy.
Sagafet.
Hey, say
Tommy
Enzo.
Tactics, or is it? Yeah, a different name now.
And
Yeah,
Enzo Caicedo, man.
that
That
Tommy
new
Tactics
season, new
out there losing
players, new
trophies.
name.
Enzo Caicedo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, what's your thoughts on the weekend, sir?
Well, I know I'm a bit late. I know y'all were just about to talk about a boring sport there, but I'll leave you to it in about 10 minutes.
Mr. Crazy, man.
Now, all I have to say is this. Dear Liverpool fans, there's nothing to be worried about. What I saw in the first half, I think y'all are just 3 signings away from coming back and being that, threatened team in the Premier League, man. I think 2 solid center defensive midfielders. You don't have to be a world class or anything like that. I think once they can hold their own, I think you guys will be back better than what you were last weekend, obviously. So I don't think Liverpool to worry about, in my opinion. Okay.
So what about Chelsea
That's my
fans?
opinion. Lavia, Caicedo. I mean,
You can't do one thing seriously without trolling somebody.
No. I'm not trolling. Honest. I'm being honest.
I agree with him. I think 2 signings will be.
2 center defensive midfielders.
Not necessarily. One will be enough.
Not totally 150 million.
About 1 CDM.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about his legs, but I mean, he is someone that can be able to at least hold down the number 6. You know what I mean? He's a different type of profile. You guys need somebody with some serious legs to cover the back 4. But what I saw on Sunday, I mean, Konate seems to be, coming to be a backup for VVD once he starts turning down, I guess. You still have the 2 best backs in the league, Trent and Robertson. You have Diaz, Salah. These are pretty world-class players. You have Nunes, who still has a little bit to improve
Question.
I think you guys are a solid team.
Question for you there. You make a statement that you said 2 best outside backs in the league.
Yeah.
In Trent better than Reece. I just want to confirm that that's what you said.
Well, I said, maybe I slipped there, Carol. You have some good ears.
All right.
I think Trent. I think Trent is obviously, regarded best right backs in the world, arguably the best in the world. So I mean, he's defensively is not the best, but I mean, he can and was. I mean, we've only seen Danny back, so he definitely has that talent. It's just missing a couple key personnel to get everything clicking again. And I don't think you guys should be worried at all. Although I see sporting directors resigning left, right, and center, so I don't know what.
Yeah, that's something else.
Never really seen a player like that since the days of Torres, Mascherano, and so on. So might be deeper than just a football problem over there. Something internal.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Carragher had a lot to say on that.
Telling the stories to come. I don't know what's going on there either.
Whether you reporting on unverified news there right now.
Well, Brad, where there's smoke.
No, but remember we're talking about football. Where there was smoke, there was fire. Right now, Strootman will be playing for Man U. What's the other one? Snyder. All these guys will be playing for Man U.
Nah, Strootman retired already, my brother. Relax.
Just saying, rumors sometimes surface where there's no substance.
I see Shane asking about the handball. What are you talking about? The Chelsea game?
About that handball from the weekend, yeah.
I actually didn't even see that.
Oh,
I don't think I was watching the TV.
Or what's the thoughts of the referee?
I didn't. Referee, I mean,
that you would say, Rajiv?
As I said, I wasn't.
That's why I say the referee.
Yeah, there was a blatant handball, man. The man's hand was all up by his chest, unnatural position. The referee.
Like a T-Rex.
Blatant.
Yeah, Rajiv, you didn't see it then?
It wasn't blatant. He was jumping.
So the problem is the inconsistency. If it's not given there, but it's not given elsewhere, it's fine. But there was literally a handball given, a player slide to block a ball, arm stuck to his side, the ball hit the back of his elbow, and they give a penalty.
And in the United game as well, they didn't give one.
Right.
I think Rashford headed into what is the right back name there? Semedo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they didn't call that one. So again, that's not consistent.
His chest, ball made contact with his hands, no penalty. So it's the inconsistencies where the fans are the problem. If it's not called for anybody, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? So we'll see. First weekend there were a lot of controversial decisions given and not.
And say one, say two. If it's one thing that football can learn from the boring sport that Imad said we're going to talk about there. Cricket has learned about that VAR business and the video replay, and it's pretty much part of the game. It's seamless. Right now the players understand it, the umpires understand it, the fans understand it. Although we don't agree with every aspect of it, but at least it's consistent for the most part. So that's one thing football need to look at.
There's very little controversy when it comes to a decision on the from what I see. I know you watch more cricket than me, but from what I see when I was watching that series there.
Yeah. All right. So
yeah,
Imad,
definitely. I would agree with that.
Based on that game there, all you see all the season going. I mean, all making some big signings. All spend about $1 billion already. So what you see all the season going?
Yeah, we spent about $1 billion, but we've also earned quite a bit of money as well.
Hello, we're not talking about Hollywood, my brother. We're talking about
I would say
players brought in.
I mean, obviously it's a transition season. I mean, it's a transition. I mean, they've changed literally wholesale changes, which I think Man United have to follow if they really want to go anywhere, because we've been talking about it for the last 5 or 6 years. So I think Todd is revolutionizing football ownership. I think Man, you need to just cash in on Rashford and all these guys and just say it was good while it lasted.
Could you spend 2 minutes on Chelsea without different another team? Let's talk about Chelsea.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, I talk about the most popular team in England, so I'll get to it. I think Chelsea is. I mean, I think they're gonna do fairly decent this year. I think it's a transition year, so obviously whole changes. I'm not expecting much. I'm not expecting some title or anything. I do expect top, and I am looking to see a breakout season for the one and only Enzo Fernandez. I think he's just gonna come out guns blazing and show us what he's really about. I mean, the guy was 100 and something million. I forget the exact price, and he seems like he's been playing in the Premier League since the age of 5. So he's been a solid signing. I mean, I have said that he's justified because after the first 5 games, I saw the talent, I saw his ability, and I said I have.
You see that after the first 5 games?
Assessed, but he had more. Huh?
I thank you.
Sorry, Rajiv.
Nah, I say you see that after the first 5 games. I'm not really disagree. But continue.
Well, you can disagree. I mean, that was the worst I've seen play football in a long time, and he still played very well. I think he got man of the match for 3 of those 5 games. So if you can perform in a terrible team like that couldn't even score a goal, couldn't even complete this consecutively, then you are some sort of talent, because nobody could perform in that team. Nobody. Not even Silva, who is a world-class defender that's been in the game from, 2 decades now? I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, that team was the worst team I've seen in a long time, and he was the only shining light.
So we'll see what Enzo have to offer, man. We'll see what Enzo have to offer.
And now to come to play in a actually fully functioning team with a solid manager.
All right, so you're saying top 4. You're saying top 4, right?
Yeah, 4 top 5 for sure.
All
Later,
right.
guys. Take care. Enjoy the cricket.
All right, fellas.
Yeah, man. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so anyway, next year, for everybody who doesn't know, the T20 World Cup is in the Caribbean and United States. And that's happening in June of next year. So it's going to be, a big thing going on in the Caribbean. West Indies didn't make it to the 50th over World Cup, which is happening end of this year, but they'll be in the T20 World Cup. So West Indies, has always done fairly well in T20s. Over the last couple of years, we've kind of slumped a little bit, but we have 2 T20 World Cup titles. recently in the last 10 years. And I think we have good players, so we have to just put our head down and play to our potential. What I saw on Sunday, watching the game, I mean, we were watching the game and it was interesting because this guy from India was bowling on Kuldeep Yadav, and this guy's been giving West Indies problem for the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
And all I've been saying is, if West Indies could just not give this guy wickets, we'll be okay. I don't care. I don't care if he bowled 4 overs and he's got 10 runs on him. I don't care. The rest of them will get back. Just he's their main strike taking bowler. If you can prevent him from taking wickets, the rest of them you can attack. And that's exactly what they did. Nicholas Puran came in, did really well. You had Bradley King scored 85. The guys did really well, and any series win against a team like India is not to be taken lightly, because India is a world power in cricket right now. So we have to. It's definitely a good thing. And we'll see. I mean, we have the CPL starting tomorrow. That is the Caribbean Premier League. That starts tomorrow. They are playing they're starting it off in St. Lucia. The games are going to be, I think, at 10 in the morning and 7 at night. So, you guys can tune in. I think they have it on ESPN Plus, I think, up here in the States. But you have the St. Lucia Zooks, you have the St. Kitts team. So they play in the first set of games, I think maybe like 6 games in St. Lucia, then they go into St. Kitts. Then they go into Barbados. Then they go into Guyana, I think. And that should wrap it up. So, you guys,
Where the Dominican boys playing?
Alec is playing for St. Lucia Zooks. No, I'm sorry, not St. Lucia Zooks. Barbados Royals. They drafted him in. And I think Kavem is playing for the Zooks, I think.
Okay.
So, I mean, Alec, I'm looking forward to seeing what Alec brings forward to the T20 vibes, because I think he have what it takes to play all the 3 formats for West Indies cricket. I know for sure that he believes that he can, so he has to just do his thing.
Yeah, I will tell you what I saw though watching them games.
Mm-hmm.
I was not impressed by some of the West Indies fast bowling in particular. Them man can't bowl a consistent line. Them man can't bowl a consistent length.
Yep.
I haven't seen I was watching the game sporadically. What is his name? Alzari Jose.
Alzari, yeah. Yep.
Right? I don't understand how a top level cricketer cannot hit a consistent same line. Just try it. They man don't practice anything.
But Carol, so
I remember
watching the game.
I
watching the game
when Ambrose and Ting was playing, and Ambrose and him used to pong that ball in the same area.
Yep.
Pressure on the batsman.
You watch it?
He bowling shot,
Alzari,
and then he sent him for 6.
Alzari need a rest. He need a rest. He been playing consistent, straight through. These guys played for West Indies. Then they went to India for the IPL. Then they went to. Then he came back for the Test series. He played Test series. He played one days. He played T20. This guy need a rest. Because my honest opinion on Alzari is he's a talented bowler. He has the physical skill to be a good bowler. But my only problem with Alzari is I don't think Alzari bowling with any head. He just trying to come in and just try and bowl as fast as he can. And when you're playing at that level, pace not gonna scare people unless if you're bowling at such a pace that people are thinking about your pace. 85 miles per hour is not gonna scare batsmen, bro. Then these guys face that all the time. If you guys, anybody who watch, when you watch the Ashes was happening recently, Ashes between England and Australia.
Mm-hmm.
England had to bring in Mark Wood and miss this guy bowling 95 miles an hour. So fellas have to think twice because that is real pace. When that coming to you, that's real pace. So, but Alzari not bowling, we're using his head, in my opinion. And I think he need a rest. I think he need some coaching. He's from Antigua. Curtly Ambrose is from Antigua. So maybe he need to reach out to Ambrose, or maybe the West Indies Cricket Board need to try and kind of bring them together and try and see how they could, because he has a talent, I think, but it's just the mental thing. I remember Mario Shepherd, I think, bowled well in the series. He took the most wickets in the series.
What is that Indian opening batsman? Jaiswal or something?
Jaiswal,
How old is that kid?
19.
You're not still 19, my brother. You're brother.
Listen,
I'm in his 20s now.
1920 somewhere around there.
well,
He doesn't grow the
that's
man.
going to be a problem for the next few years.
The thing is, though, Kerry, he's a good player.
Mm.
You know, honestly, this is my opinion, and people might not agree, and people might say it's because I from Dominica.
I know exactly what you guys.
But I am telling you personally, when I watch Alec is a more talented batsman than Jaiswal. That's just me personally. But at the same time, Jaiswal has the opportunity to play in India. He plays in top level cricket in India, first class cricket. So when he comes into the West Indies team, when he comes into the Indian team, the man came into the Indian team playing like 15 first class games. He had like almost 10 hundreds, right? Playing top level cricket in India. So when he comes play against West Indies, he's already in form, he's already in the groove.
Yeah.
Compared to
Ali playing his captain.
Yeah, compared to like Ali coming in at, Ali or like Mackenzie coming in, they played 2 or 3 regional games, and now you expect them to come against, Ashwin and Jadeja, 2 of the best spinners in the world, and dominate. And so the cricket is not really equal now as much as it used to be. Back then, when Viv Richards and them guys were doing well, them guys used to play in England. When they were playing cricket for West Indies,
they were playing
county cricket in England.
So let me ask you, who's responsible? Who does that responsibility fall on? That our younger players don't have the level of exposure. Who at fault?
I think it's a multi-layered issue. For one, I think the ICC has to look at that, the International Cricket Council, right? Because West Indies is not the only smaller nation which has this problem. Sri Lanka has the same problem. Bangladesh has the same problem. All these countries that don't have the population, as India and Australia and England, who are, the bigger cricketing nations, it's very difficult for them to financially, right? They don't generate as much income. India generates significant, like almost half, or if not more than half of all the money that the ICC generates. So India, the BCCI, which is the Indian Board of Control, right? They will ask for a bigger chunk. So the smaller nations don't have the resources, unless if the governments of those countries pump money into the cricket for facilities and grassroots and all those things. It's difficult for them to keep up with the bigger nations. But also the West Indies Cricket Board has to take blame for that, because even with all of that, I think we produce some of the most talented players in the world in cricket still. But our problem is when the players basically go from under 15 to under 19, and then basically all the development just stops, right? If they don't play for, let's say, a Windwards or like a Jamaica or any of these teams, these guys don't play any cricket. And in any sport, you have to practice. You have to be playing for it to get better.
But from an Indian perspective, they could probably argue that, well, they invested in their cricket, and they probably can't even go so far as to say that, well, they even invest in West Indies players as well. So they put in the work to, kind of give players that exposure. So that should be, the onus should be on every country to find a way to develop their own. The ICC might say, well, shouldn't be our job. That is
no, but it has to be right. Think of what happens with FIFA, right? If you correlate it to what happens with FIFA, right? When FIFA has a tournament, they figure out how they're gonna divvy up the money, with the tournaments, and FIFA also gives money to every nation, right? They might not give the same, but they give a decent amount of money to every nation, right? So I know saying ICC doesn't do that, but if you want cricket to grow, and that's why I don't agree with the ICC making the Cricket World Cup smaller, because the Football World Cup is trying to grow, and the Cricket World Cup is getting smaller, right? And I don't think that's, if you want, I think it's like 10 teams now, but you have to. I mean, if you look at the tournament that West Indies went to Zimbabwe and play, and they didn't make it, there were good teams there, like Scotland, Ireland, Netherlands. Like all these teams are decent. USA, they have some good teams. Those teams can go into a World Cup and beat a top team. It's not impossible, because Netherlands and those teams beat West Indies, and look, West Indies just beat India. So it's not impossible for those teams to. So if you want the game to develop, money has to go into it, right? And more grassroots development and training. And then the other thing too, in the Caribbean, is difficult in the West Indies, because think of, let's say, a young man growing up in Dominica, you want to play for West Indies. We don't have the facilities. We don't have, so the person maybe have to eventually say, you know what, if I want to develop my skill, I have to leave and go to like a Barbados or a Grenada or Antigua, wherever they have
And
facilities.
then you have to do that at a young enough age.
And you have to do that exactly.
Yeah,
So
that's tough.
Like no real academy. I mean, even in countries like
they have
Barbados,
an academy. They have an academy in Barbados. I don't know if they started of it now. It was running like Fu. He was there, Rajiv. Fu. He was there for a little while and stuff. But I don't really know, how it is right now. But the West Indies Cricket Board still can do a better job of what we have. One of the things I think we miss the trick is we cannot, like, it's very difficult for you to tell somebody to do the same job. So a guy that could maybe go to IPL and in 6 weeks he could make 500,000 US, and the West Indies Cricket Board can only pay him 100,000 US for the year, and he can go India and make that in 6 weeks. It's kind of hard for you to tell him to turn that money down because that's a lot of money. So we have to kind of figure out how to allow our best players to go and be able to come back and represent the West Indies. Teams like England and India and these places, they can tell their players not to go to play in India or not to go and play wherever because they're paying their players millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Right, but we don't have that. We don't have that. So, like I said, I think we have a lot of work to do in the Caribbean. I think the West Indies Cricket Board is trying, but they need help from the Caribbean governments for sure. And when I say help, I mean financial help, facilities, maybe paying a couple of people who are coaches to work with young players and stuff like that, to keep the cricket, developing.
It's a lot.
So, yeah, I mean,
it's
a lot, man. It's a lot. I mean, West Indies can do well. I think our expectations as Caribbean fans have to be. We have to kind of take it down a notch. We're not gonna go to.
We're in the glory days. We're still in the glory days, man.
No, for some reason we always play well against England. We always play well against England for some reason. But when you go Australia and India and places, we cannot have those expectations, right? The guys, like for example,
I've seen some comments from All for Each Marketing. If you're interested, you can join the live,
Yeah, man, join the live, man. Give us all your opinion. Top-notch nations stop the players from playing in a top league if they cannot offer a similar level. Told me like CB is just a bunch of vampires. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's your opinion. I think, and also politics plays a big part into it, right? You have different island politics. It seems like every time a Bajan is at the head of the West Indies Cricket Board, they pick majority Bajan players. A Jamaican, he picks majority Jamaicans. Trini, same thing. And it's just like a recurring thing. And the only time in recent history that the West Indies has done well, right? When a small island man was the captain, that was Darren Sammy. Because at that point, Darren Sammy was a very good leader. He was a very good man manager, in terms of leading his guys. And Darren Sammy was able to put all the island politics. So basically, he was able to bring all the best players together, and the best players perform their best. But once you don't have that, you're going to have those kind of problems. So,
yeah,
I mean, I think we can hold our end. I mean, look at Alec and Mackenzie. Them guys came in, young guys. They played 2 test matches. Them guys played 2 test matches. Well, Mackenzie played 1, Alec played 2. The next time they play test cricket, going to be all the way in January, I think. Like, that's far, bro. Like 6 months. Like, so now you expect them to come against Australia, go to Australia in 6 months and score hundreds against, like, it's very difficult. The guys have to play. The guys have to play and build their skill.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. We'll see. But hopefully I can get a couple partners of mine from that are really involved in the cricket thing to come on and talk to us a little bit about it. We can kind of dive into it a little bit.
I'd definitely be interested in going to a couple of the T20 games.
Yeah, I starting to look. I mean, once the fixtures come out, I will determine what what games. But I mean, I see West Indian just see there's an 8 tour of South Africa in November. Okay, so that's good. I mean, really for that 8 tour, they should just pick the test team and send them. Really and truly, you have to pick 8 players. Just pick the test team and send them down there. But anyway, I think the fixture should be coming out sometime soon. Because I saw an article recently that a lot of the Indian fans and Australian fans were a little concerned about the if it takes too long, basically for West Indies Cricket Board to be able to, somebody just join us, all for each marketing. I'm gonna let you join in a little bit. They were concerned about being able to book their flights and everything like that, so they wanted the fixtures to come out early for them to be able to start making their travel arrangements. People who live a little far. So let me say all for each marketing. Let me see if you let me let you in here. All right, caller, go ahead, caller. You live.
Thanks for joining us.
Good night. Why is it with there?
What you saying?
Yes, sir.
Good night. All you can hear me? Coming through loud and
Yeah,
clear?
Yeah, man, we can hear you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So on that, we're seeing this topic, right? We used to be the best cricketing nation in the world, bar none. When Viv come and bat, man used to tell the captain, my hamstring hurting me, my wrist hurting me. I do bowling now. When Mister out, I go come back. You understand? Viv maybe wasn't the high scoring batsman, but in terms of dominance in the wicket, man then used to take off their cap and tell captain, give me the ball, I come in and bowl. That is probably the main reason why I never rate Lara better than Viv. Because man used to want to bowl against Lara. Man didn't want to bowl against Viv. And if you look at what England do, they take Michael Holding, England playing like how West Indies used to play. When we come in and play, you, it's pressure in your skin, bounces under your cut, and pressure when we come and bat. How West Indies batting, how West Indies playing like Bangladesh. We can't even beat Bangladesh again. You check?
But
Because
why you think that is like that?
well, I mean, we let Mervyn Dillon and Franklin Rose and Nixon McLean do rubbish for bowling, and it have a partner in St. Kitts bowling 96 miles per hour. If it wasn't for Sanford, Suleiman Ben, Narain, Andre Fletcher, none of them man would have never get a game in the West Indies team. Is Sanford, that uncover a lot of talent we had just wasting in the Caribbean. West Indies Cricket Board kill us. You check what more support West Indies Cricket Board can want. Look, Dominica give them our best sports resource, cricket stadium. We keep infrastructure in Roseau because 4 o'clock all man you said Windsor Park. That was a tradition. Roseau alone not a football country. We destroy that because we want cricket. Hey, cricket, whoa, cricket. All you come Dominica. But we lose games already, because of old Maji Bajan have to play with, boy. We leave Ambrose on the bench, boy. We leave Walsh on the bench, boy. All you know is lose, we go in and lose against India. Roman the party we come for. Why can't them watching the game with Trevor stands? That don't making sense.
Yeah.
That not fair. You check.
But is it politics there? Is it politics?
But then that is what I'm saying. If it's the politics, so why is not fighting for us? Why the people?
I don't know.
When Nanton was vice president, Nanton say Alec will get a chance later. 3 years later, man still one of the best top 5 batsmen in the Caribbean. Why is only now? And why?
Good point. Very good point.
Bro, was for the last we bad mind 9. We take out all them deadly man. We say them man can't play because them man no play in regional cricket. It's 2020 and money them man chasing. We don't play in them man. Again, madness. You check. Look at the countries, the smaller countries in Europe. When you look at where them man football players playing, Bundesliga, La Liga, English Championship, who they playing for? Mid-table team, relegation team. Why you think? The whole just playing hard football whole season. So when all of us come back on our national team, we forward. Nobody didn't expect Algeria to beat. Is Algeria who beat Argentina in the first game?
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Oh, you drop off it.
You lose him, man.
Yeah, you lost him.
Yeah.
But you was making some good points there. Making some good points there for sure.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, man, for sure. He made a point there about Nanton. Nanton was vice president of West Indies Cricket Board a few years ago. And what he's saying is, if the bigger Caribbean islands, when they're there and they're on top and they're running things, if they're fighting for their players, why aren't we fighting for ours when we're there?
Yeah.
Why we're not giving our guys a chance? I mean, I would always go back to, I'm happy Ali get his chance, but I would always go back to Mervyn Matthew. I mean, Mervyn Matthew was one of the best young bowlers in the Caribbean, better than Ravi Rampal, better than all them guys. And all them guys play for West Indies and we never get a chance.
That's my name.
Never got a chance.
I
mean, I never forget that. I remember Mervyn playing in on the 90 World Cup for West Indies. And Ian Bishop was raving about Mervyn Matthew because Mervyn Matthew was bowling quick. He had the ability to swing the ball both ways. He had really good control. The man was a really good player. And he never got a chance. By the time they come around to try and talk to him and stuff, the man already dejected. And you know what I'm saying? They really making sense because the man at the top of his game can't get a chance. And he's seen all the other players that he know he better than them. And he can't get a chance in the team. Shane Shillingford, it took years. I mean, Shane Shillingford been playing for Winwood since he was like 16 or 17. And it took years for them to pick Shane Shillingford in the West Indies team. And if you notice, it's only when he go in India and Tendulkar couldn't bat him, all of a sudden they say he choking. I mean, maybe Shane was choking for true, but why it wasn't a problem before? And these are the things that I say with the West Indies Cricket Board. If you have a young bowler like that, you notice that has the talent, the West Indies Cricket Board have to grab these guys and work with them from a young age. Try and get them, even Ali can. To me, it's the same scenario as if a guy goes to the under 90 World Cup and he dominates, he can't come back in the Caribbean and go back and sit down in his island and do what? The West Indies Cricket Board have to bring him back and you know what I'm saying?
So in these cases then, I'll do it. Say what you say. So he go to the under 19 and he come back. What should the West Indies Cricket Board do? Do they have partnerships with like other clubs, other counties, say in Europe or in India that actually play in cricket regularly to get those players out there, or is that
the thing is
beyond their reach?
The thing is, right, back the guy who was talking about Viv. Back in Viv and them days, Viv and them used to play in England, right? Them guys used to live in England. Them guys, whenever they were playing cricket for West Indies, they're in England. And they developed their skill, a lot of their skill to play in county cricket. Right? They used to play some of the best players in the world in county cricket. So they had the talent and they were playing cricket all the time. And what happened was England basically realized what that was doing. That was giving the West Indian guys an advantage because they had the talent. You have them playing in top tier cricket. When they come and play against in England, it blows on England. So England put a cap to the amount of foreign players you could have in a team, right? So now that's what pretty much all the nations are doing. Even the IPL, all these teams, like to play in the IPL, you can only have 4 overseas players. All the rest of them have to be Indian. And that's how they're developing a pipeline of good players because those players are consistently playing with some of the best players in the world. So when a young Indian guy come there, Jaiswal, come there at 18, and in the IPL he playing against Narayan and Rashid Khan and all these good bowlers, when he come face little man bowling or spin, them think the trouble in him because he's facing some of the best players in India.
Yeah.
So the West Indies Cricket Board, when you have I always say, you have guys who go and dominate under 19, like Alec did. When Alec came back in the Caribbean, Alec cannot go back and sit on Grand Bay. Alec now have to, because the West Indies main senior team, they're not even dominating. So I don't see anything wrong with bringing a guy that's 19 years old into the senior team setup. I don't say he have to play, but he can be training with them. He can be doing the tours and, building, you know what I'm saying? A net against a good bowler is better than just sitting down, You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So these are the things that I feel like the West Indies Cricket Board needs to look at. It's not necessarily because we have to find other ways. If you want to beat those teams, we're not going to beat them with just sheer talent. Those teams use coaching, they use video. If you notice, when Ali came to bat the first test match, right? They said they feel one way. When he came about the second test match, the whole field was changing. Because they already don't watch how we batting and they say, okay, you like to drive? The same guy from Jamaica too, Mackenzie. They say you like to drive? They put in 2 men in front because they realize them young players, they see you strong at something, they're gonna take it away. Let's see if you're good at something else. And that's how that's why they call it test cricket. They literally it tests you. If you score 100 in test cricket, you've done really well because a team can literally set any field for you to try and get you. Oh, they can do anything. So I'm saying West Indies Cricket Board need to do better overall. I think I still think we generate a lot of really, really good talented players because taking a genius to see that every T20 tournament in the world have a bunch of West Indian players. They don't give them money just because they like them. They give them money because they're good.
Because they're good.
So you know, but you still have a lot of guys who are not really interested in playing Test match cricket. Puran, I'm not saying they're not interested, but
Yeah.
you know, maybe back then Test cricket would be the only way for them to make a living. No, they don't really have to think about that. They can go play T20 tournaments and stuff like that. So
Puran good at T20, yeah?
Huh?
He's a good T20 batsman, I can tell you that.
No, Puran is one of the best in the world, bro.
He's very good.
Puran was another one, you know. Puran went in on the 19 World Cup and scored like 150 against Australia. Puran was very good, you know. And he came back and, you know, but he has always been interested in playing the shorter format of the game.
Where's he from?
Trinidad. Yeah, man. Right. Anyway, we are looking over.
Well over time.
Yeah, but anyway, everybody, thanks for tuning in for sure. Yeah, the people who called in, we appreciate it. We'll be back. Just take a look out for our YouTube channel, you know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Twitter.
Let me take that back. X. Yeah. You're on X as well. So yeah, man. We'll be back to talk about, you know,
subscribe.
Next fixtures. Yep. Share
Click
the like.
Turn on your notifications.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, everybody. Rajiv, everything I remember there, you looking like you may be checking, man. I don't want to cricket.
Rajiv, cricket rules, man.
Rajiv was asking some really good questions when the test match was going on about explaining the DRS and all those things. So
yeah,
you know, as we get a little bit more into it, we can kind of give some more explanation for people who don't understand.
Honestly, I think that'd be beneficial, you know, because somebody rules, like the power play in T20, I don't understand, like what that is. So you know,
maybe we'll set up. We can set up a couple shows where we can just go through.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we can do like a watch along. Maybe one night I'll do a watch along of a CPL game.
CPL match,
you know, game starts at 7, and then we can kind of talk through what's going on in the game. You know.
Yeah, that makes
so everybody can kind of understand.
That makes sense.
All right, everybody. Have a good night, and thanks for joining us. We appreciate everybody who tuned in, everybody who commented, everybody who joined us, and one love.
Glory.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.